Hey, beautiful people. It's your girl Shakima. I'm just stopping into the building. I'm actually here to do an impromptu reading for the situations that we've got kind of like going down in pop culture at the minute. I'm actually personally interested in the Danileigh and Dababy situation that's kind of erupted. Just because the spirit of antagonization is definitely very real and rife at the minute as far as what's going on for us as a collective. But I actually also got a request to do a reading for Britney Spears and Sam Asghari. I guess, caught wind of that situation a while back. So I haven't really sort of followed up with that story. I don't really know the ins and outs of what's going on, but I've just done a little prayer to set the space to sort of just unpack and see what the actual guidance is for them as they're kind of navigating through this time and where, things may sort of take them. So I'm going to go and unpack that for you guys and see what's actually about to erupt for them. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and get into the stuff.
Staring at herself in the mirror on the restroom door. Voices in her head that mirror what she's heard before.
So I'm trying a new mic, guys. I want to basically just check and see if you guys can actually hear me. Because I'm not too sure and I just got that download. So I'm gonna go and do that now and I guess do my overall checks and see see what's going on with the mic quality. Hold right there, guys. Wait right there. Okay. I'm just trying to get some insights so we can go ahead and unpack all this awesome stuff. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool beans. So now that I know that the mic quality is actually perfectly fine, luckily I actually had the Bluetooth in the other room, so you guys didn't hear me having the feedback, but we're going to go ahead and unpack all this stuff and just have a look into their spaces and see what's actually going to be taking place. I'm going to start with, because a personal interest of mine, I guess, is the Danileigh and the Dababy situation. I'm going to unpack that little space first, and then we can sort of get into the Britney Spears stuff and see what may be unfolding for her and Sam and kind of take it from there, really. Right, guys, let's go ahead and chop it all the way up. I don't actually even know what the guides want to tell me on the space for these individuals, but I guess we'll find out once we kind of get into it. Firstly, I actually want to have a look and see where's Danileigh mentally at the minute, because I know that there's a lot that she's been kind of navigating through. It's interesting because I think Dababy's his karma for this, guys, his karma for this is definitely going to keep unfolding itself towards, I want to say, Taurus season of 2022. We're really actually going to see, because he's been kind of building this case for himself with the public, and the case is not going so great. So we're going to have a little look and see what's going on in her mind space first, and then we're going to go and have a look and see why he's even acting out like this, and see what we can sort of find out over there, because the shiznai is real, guys, for real, for real. Right, guys, so where is Danileigh mentally in terms of the dynamics that she's kind of navigating through at the minute? Okay. Okay, so she's kind of at a place where she's a lot more focused on herself, which is nice. I think that that's a good place for her to be. I do also want to say that she is, how can I put it? She's kind of releasing a little bit of her own selfishness to do with certain situations and dynamics as well. We've obviously kind of, as a public, had feelings about the way that she's dealt with the situation pertaining to the baby's, you know, baby mom's children, mother of his children, that dynamic. So this is also the unfolding of her karmic debt for the dynamics of that situation. At least the great thing about it is that she's now being able to release some of that, and she's getting a little bit more of a broader perspective on the situation, and she's learning a little bit more about how to prioritize, because one of the things is that obviously she fell back on her career dynamics and situation, right? So she's actually now sort of realizing how that situation is now starting to impact her, but she does have good support. I think that that's one of the things that's actually sort of coming up at the minute. She's realizing that she's actually now getting back some of the support that she felt that she lost at some point in the situation. And I think that certain relationships are being mended at the minute as she's kind of navigating through this process. So as the tides have kind of taken her away, I guess, from the dynamics with the baby, she can kind of open herself up a little bit more to just really allowing for her to be secure in herself, and not necessarily seek that validation outside of herself. I don't think she's there yet. And let's be clear, I'm not saying like she's going to be a different woman tomorrow. I feel like this is a journey that she's kind of like going on, and it's definitely going to spark some new waves of creativity for her, which is nice. However, we are definitely going to see a little bit of time where she's going to have to take some time to ground herself and let herself be more compassionate, I guess, in terms of how she deals with certain situations moving forward. So this was her class on compassion, and oh wow, I'm getting emotional and feeling it, because it was like I'm sensing that this was quite a tough class for her to kind of like sit, you know. Obviously, I know that she did some stuff. She made some poor choices, and when she was in the vibration of the spirit of antagonization, she made some really drastic and irrational decisions to do certain things. So now I guess she's starting to sit back and reflect on the way that she's handled certain situations, and basically receiving, I guess, wind of the karma as the pendulum swung back. She's kind of at a place where she's contemplating and reevaluating certain things and certain decisions that she's kind of made. She is at a place where she's quite together at the minute. She's at a place where she's quite, when I say put together at the minute, I mean she's emotionally secure and emotionally grounded. My phone is popping off, guys. Okay, I've been on job all day, so that's neither here nor there. Don't watch that. I'll get around to that in a second, but I definitely think that for her, the fantasies now come crashing down, and she's having to deal with the reality of things. And now she's realizing how she performed when she was in the fantasy and the facade of it all. She's realizing the consequences of some of those decisions that she made then. And she's really having to, I guess, gain some control at the minute. I'm trying so hard, right, not to kind of like get too emotional, but I'm telling you, like, mentally she's in a very fragile place right now. she's definitely activated primitive mode. It is a case of like being about self and being about, focused on what's actually, going on in her space. My mom is in the room, y'all. It's so funny because she tried to call too, but I guess she figured I'm on live. But yeah, she's definitely going through a lot of mental reprogramming at the minute, and disappointment is an understatement in terms of where she's at emotionally. Like the abandonment is real for her at this point, and now her daughter's also having to basically navigate through the side effects, I guess, of her illness, which is causing her to be collateral damage in the process. So it's definitely quite the show, guys. What would you guys advise Danileigh in terms of her romance dynamic? Oh, wow. I don't know what's going to be taking place here, guys, because some people are saying that they feel like these guys are going to get back together, like, not too long from now. I don't know if that's a good situation per se, but what I can say is that things aren't necessarily all the way over just yet. Like, it's really not all the way over just yet. So there's still a lot of things that needs to be ironed out with that situation. She definitely is still in love with this man, and the idea that she had of the family dynamic that she was going to be experiencing, that no longer is. So the grieving process of that is actually like probably one of the main things that's really on her heart at this time. But I think that that's also one of the things that's really pushing her into this need to be able to preserve self, need to be able to really survive out here in these toxic streets, in these toxic relationship dynamic streets. Okay, what is the overall advice for Danileigh as she navigates through the situation that she's going through? Okay, that done fell all the way out, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go and grab that. Because clearly that's how she feels about that guidance. But nonetheless, we're going to go and grab that for her and see what the guides are actually saying she needs to do with this. Oh, wow. Okay, that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear. Like, we're all the way there right now. We know what kind of vibe the situation is, what they're kind of navigating through. So the guides are pretty much say that the guides are pretty much saying, okay, that this illusion that this person is your soulmate is not a reality. It's not a reality. This was just a dynamic. Like, this was a flirt situation that's kind of gone too far. And I think that's what the baby was trying to like really put across. Like, for him, this started as a thing, but I think he done tripped and caught himself some feelings in this whole dynamic as well, because she done put receipts out there and really kind of like let it be known, like, I was not a side B. Okay, like, yes, maybe that's how the dynamic may have started off for him, but for me, I was under the impression that we were going to go somewhere. This was going to be a whole thing. We're actually going to be a family, and here we are. Like, I want to say this as well. I don't think she planned the child, because that's a download that I'm getting even as I'm having the conversation here. I don't think she planned the child per se. I think they had discussions maybe about basically starting a family, and she was open to that possibility. But I don't think she solely planned a child. I think he was pillow talking and just saying stuff when he's in that mode. I think y'all know what I mean, okay? And this is a reality. Like, this is a consequence of his action there as well. He basically kind of somewhat sold her a dream, but also there were red flags. There were a lot of warning signs. And the guides are saying that, yes, this is a great lesson of naivety, but also, like, let's be clear on what it is that you're looking for in a soulmate. Like, let's be clear on what it is that you're actually desiring in a partner. Let's be clear on what it is that you actually need from a partner, because what you accepted as Danileigh prior to motherhood is no longer your standards as Danileigh now as a mom. So you need to go back and reevaluate what is acceptable for you now. Like I said, maybe when they first started, she may have been aware that she was a side B. And she may have been aware that it was going to be like a limited situation in terms of how much time and emotional capacity she's going to be, is going to be poured into her as far as from the baby side. But now, as time's gone on, I want to say like a good 13 to 18 months into the game, where they're now going back and forth, and now feelings have been grown. They're now in a position where they're exchanging I love yous, and it's very natural and effortless for them to be affectionate towards each other. And I want to say that they both got lost in the hype of the whole dynamic and situation. I think because they were both just coming on, like like that, right? And I feel like they kind of felt like they were going to be able to kind of build each other up, and they were going to be there for the come up, or at least that's how she saw the dynamic. Anyways, this is what I'm getting from her perspective on the situation. She felt like they were going to be able to support each other and really just kind of take over the game, is what I'm hearing. And, they were going to manifest their financial prosperity. They were going to manifest their generational wealth. They were going to build a life together. Like, that's how she saw it in her mind. Like, they were going places at one point. They were having certain conversations, and he may not have been fully invested as he was having these conversations. For him, it may have been, do you know what? I do have feelings. I may not necessarily be on the same wavelength in terms of the things that she's speaking about, but shit, if I don't agree, it might just disturb the peace of what it is that we've got going right now. So I don't feel like I want to really, go down that path. So for now, I'm just going to agree. And let's see where this takes us. And this is where it takes y'all. Like, this deception that y'all were soulmates, and you guys were like really about it for each other. And you guys were really out here like riding hard for each other. And you'd be out, like, the way that the situation has kind of gone down is just really, really been revealing to Danileigh and also to the baby as well. I think for both of them, I don't think he meant to catch feelings. Like, let's be clear. I'm going to actually like unpack his space in a second, but I don't think that feelings were meant to be caught on his part. I think that was just a situation going too far, and he actually just got himself caught up in a whole dynamic that he really wasn't necessarily prepared for. But she's waking up, y'all. She's waking up from the mask. She's waking up from the false perception. Like, she's waking up and realizing, like, yo, now that I'm a mom, I can't accept, like, my standards have elevated, and I need to be able to really set effective boundaries in place. And I'm now going to have to co-parent with this person for the next however many years. And I don't even fully know how I feel about this man just yet. Like, yo, he just dogged me out, like, humiliated me. My family's going off on this side, like, for the need to protect me. And this is a whole dynamic that I'm now sort of like navigating through. Like, it's definitely put her in self-protection mode. So it's good, but it's challenging because they're still going to have to navigate through parenthood together. And there's still a lot to the situation that needs to be strategically put together. They still have to figure out the plan of how they're going to actually like do life with baby girl, okay, now in the picture. So let's have a look and see what is the baby story on this situation. Straight out the gate, we've just got like egocentric. Not necessarily in a bad way, but it's just like he's focused on well, I got enough money to basically like not necessarily make the problem go away, but I'm loaded enough to be able to get this situation right. It may not be like all the way together, but at least I can get the situation somewhat right. And I don't know, we're gonna have to like really have a look and see. Like, I feel like this is really going to show like his persistence. You know, he's really going to have to be persistent in making a different dynamic in terms of how he engages with women for the sake of his children, because he's got all of these women out here like completely bleeding out from their low self-esteem wounds, and their daddy issues is clearly entangled and enmeshed in this whole mess. Can we just sort of like acknowledge that? And the fact that he continues to basically, you know, I don't want to say use it against them, because I do feel like these women also have to take responsibility for the decisions that they're making. And I think that that's what the universe is really trying to put across as well, with the dynamics of the lessons that they're learning and the severity of how harsh it was. Like his other baby mom, I think it's Mimi. She literally, she went back to him, and she's pregnant now, I think, with like another child. In the midst of all of this craziness that's kind of taking place. But let's have a little look and see what's going on. Where is the baby mentally in terms of the situation, as as far as what they're navigating through right now? You know, where is he mentally in terms of this dynamic? Oh, wow. I got like a whole half a deck and stuff for him, because his stuff is a whole story, guys. I'm going to see if I can tell the story and see what we get from this. So for him, he's like, basically, he's now open, I guess. He's been through a process of getting more, how can I put it, more open to the possibility that shit just kind of has to fall apart. Like, it just has to all come down in order for it to kind of get to a different place with the situation. I feel like he's kind of releasing a lot of fear and unhappiness about the situation. I think for the most part, he's showing up as being emotionally calm and put together, but there's definitely a real significant imbalance at the minute in his work and personal life, because like he's trying to promote certain stuff as far as like his business situations, and his family dynamic is going to shit in the process. It's literally out here going to shit, and he's going to try and see how he can basically like utilize this to his advantage, because he seems to be good at doing that. His shadow sides are very compelling, but he seems to be able to kind of like pick up the pieces after the facts when it comes to his shadow flare-ups. So he's definitely kind of like really trying to figure out how to focus on the coin and how to basically keep his finances right as he's kind of like navigating through this dynamic of the situation, because he knows that it's going to hit his pocket, and that's one of the things that he's really taking into consideration at the minute. I don't know if he's got regrets. I can't say that he's got regrets on certain things, because he seems to be like so in his ego with the situation. I don't think that he actually really cares about how he's shown up in certain situations. I think it was more to kind of like save grace and cover his back in terms of certain things, but it clearly backfired on his ass. And he's really showing his character at the minute. Like he's really just, you know, he's really just kind of being a little bit domineering, because he's got the bread, you know, he's the one that's self-sufficient. He's the person that's basically in a position to really just, I guess, put this whole situation, not to bed, because I'm not going to say to bed, but he's a person to be able to really shift the way that this situation's kind of taking place. I feel like he's not necessarily taking enough time to look at the lessons that he's been given with a lot of the resistances that he's meeting. It's like the universe is literally shaking him upside down, because he's going to have to pay for the karma of this stuff that has been erupting. This shit's going to come to light. By next Taurus season, we're actually going to be able to see what's really good. Okay, we're going to actually see what's really good with these situation dynamics in terms of how he's really impacted by it. And I think that that's the thing that he has to remember. He's now kind of, I guess, reintegrating into certain relationships as far as his career situations. I think he burned some bridges that he's going to have to go back and mend. And he's trying to think about how he's going to, I guess, navigate through some of those situations. He's a little bit more focused on his finances, basically, is where his head is at on the situation. I don't think he's fully grasped the significance of this wound that he's created for his 3-month-old daughter, by basically putting her mom on blast like that and pretty much setting the standards for how a man is supposed to treat her. I don't think that that's basically fully connected just yet. I think that he's too far in his own ego. This is basically like with the dynamics that's kind of gone on, is triggered both of their selfishness. So safe to say that we're going to be experiencing some of the behaviors of the narcissistic traits and I guess characteristics that these guys have. We'll be seeing some of those things show up in the public eye. I want to say at least over the course of the next 3 weeks or so, we'll just see more of this stuff kind of. It's going to die down gradually, but we'll see more of this stuff kind of unfold for us before our very eyes. I'm actually like, even as I said that, I could see that there's still a lot to unpack with the situation. But what is the romance guidance for the baby in this case as far as the situation? Like, he's releasing the whole situation with Danileigh for the most part, right? She's come to the realization that shit, like, he was never actually really into her as much as she thought that he was. And she's actually just kind of, I guess, having to accept the mask that she was engaging with. Do you see what I'm saying? He got what he needed, and in the moment that he got what he came for from the bag, he wasn't necessarily as invested anymore. But I think for him, he's just ready to release the whole situation and just be done with it, and really just kind of I guess focus on his career, because that's like the only thing that's occupying his mind space at the minute, to say the least. So what is the overall guidance for the baby with the situation that he's kind of navigating through? Okay, and again, we actually have a card that's fallen for him. So let's go and have a little look and see what that is. All right, guys. So, okay. He's going back to Mimi, y'all. Okay? He's going back to Mimi. He is going back to Mimi. But that's always been their thing. Danileigh was always supposed to be the side piece in that dynamic, I guess. She didn't know what role she was playing in the situation. The baby done went and caught feelings. He went too far by impregnating her. The intention was always to kind of stick with Mimi. Mimi somewhat knew that deep down, so she wasn't necessarily, I guess, as bothered about the situation, because she knew what it was he was trying to get on. She was a pillar for him to be able to do so, or a platform or a pedestal, whatever you guys want to call it. And he's just kind of focusing on not even that dynamic so much as far as the situation with Mimi, but he's just kind of focusing on the fact that he knows that whatever goes down, that situation's secure, that situation's cool. And he's okay with that being the way that it is. And I guess he doesn't necessarily want anything else in the situation. He doesn't necessarily want anything more than that with the dynamics. And also, as far as the way that he looks at the situation with Danileigh, he's just like, I don't even really know how it got that far where we're even in this dynamic now, to the point where we were even thinking about playing family at one point. Like, he just got so lost in all of the shit. So his true intentions have come to surface, and now his agendas are no longer hidden, and they are present and out here for the world to see, because we all know he's a cloud chaser. He knows he's a cloud chaser. He knows how to cloud chase. It's actually one of his skill sets. He knows where, to find the right sort of density to jump on to be able to propel himself onto the next level. So yeah, as far as the situation for him and the dynamics, I think he's looking at reunion and reuniting, but I don't necessarily think that he's looking at that with Danileigh. And if he is having any sort of conversations with her, again, it's just to save grace for public image. I don't think that is genuine, sincere intentions of really understanding the severity of the wounds that he's caused to erupt in this space, and how he's actually antagonized a lot of situations. And that's all cool, like, these things needs to come up so they can come out, but for the most part there's a way to handle things, and I don't think that he's grasped any full realizations on what he could do differently and why he needs to do those things differently. So yeah, he's still kind of like indecisive on the situation, but I'm not too sure whether or not he does want to reunite. But for sure, he's more focused on the dynamics with his other baby mama, because shit, her standards ain't changed. She's done had 2 of his kids, I think, and is on to baby number 3 with him. So he knows that he could be this version of himself, and she'll still ride the waves of him for whatever reason, whatever she's getting out of the investment in basically supporting this level of his behavior. He doesn't necessarily have to change. She's an enabler. So, she doesn't necessarily want to play that part, but that's the part that that's the role she's got herself, I guess, locked into, as far as the scenes that they're actually auditioning for this, the roles that they're auditioning for these scenes, sorry. So yeah, that's the dynamic for Danileigh and the baby. Now, guys, we're actually going to go and chop it up for Britney Spears. I forgot to take some notes, y'all. But we're going to go and get into it. Sorry, I'm taking notes on the Britney Spears when we start Britney Spears reading, because I need to get this in the actual description, guys. So yeah, getting better at doing this stuff. I'm just gonna, I guess, cleanse the deck a little bit with the incense I've got going over here, and we're going to go and get into it for Britney and her little situation that she's got going on romantically. So I've got to give a shout out to the person that actually requested this reading, so that we can really just appreciate them for exactly what they've provided us as far as this space. I might just kind of make this like a segment for you guys. That tag, I guess, on YouTube is please and thank you. Okay. So yeah, her thing is she don't trust Sam. So we're going to have a look and find out if there's a reason to not trust Sam. I mean, personally, I know that there's no smoke without fire. So she's probably getting that, I guess, picking up on that download intuitively for a reason. But we'll unpack the stuff and see what's actually unfolding beneath the surface with the dynamics. Okay. Right, guys. So first we want to have a look at Britney. Let's have a look at Britney's situation, and you can let me know where she's at mentally. Okay. Well, we all know that she's actually like going through the process of her estate stuff. So that's definitely something that's, I guess, at the forefront of her mind. She's definitely sort of, I guess, trying to figure out how to put certain plans into place. We want to get clarity in terms of her dynamic with the situation with Sam, guys. What can you guys show us about her okay, the situation with her and Sam at the minute? They're actually going through their own dynamics, where things feel like it's falling apart internally in terms of the dynamics within the relationship as well. They're definitely going through like this really quick turnaround. There's, I guess, a revelation of greed and materialism, not necessarily just on the outside dynamic, but also within the situation dynamic. And I'm not saying that he's necessarily there trying to eat off her or anything like that. I'm just saying that they're actually really realizing, just looking at each other differently, about just certain sacrifices that they'll have to make moving forward, and how they may have been a little bit, not necessarily greedy, but how they may have been a little bit, I guess, over lavished. Things were a little bit too lavished in certain places, and they're actually trying to get a little bit more restriction in certain places for themselves as well, because I think by them being able to, so they're starting to prepare basically for actually being able to manage Britney being able to be responsible for her own finances again. So I think that's really kind of what she's looking at in terms of the dynamics with her and Sam. She's really kind of trying to think about how to be able to navigate the situation if she is going to be able to get I guess, control of her estate, how she's actually going to navigate through the situation with Sam, because they may have been a little bit overexcited at times in terms of how they handle things. And she knows that she can't continue to do that moving forward, especially because she's not necessarily going to have the opportunity to keep a close eye on things, because that's not her natural like rhythm. She hasn't had to basically hold herself accountable to the way that she spends her money like that. And hear me out. Obviously, I know she's under the estate situation, but I mean that she gets allowances. So she's basically had to figure out what she does with the allowances that she has. So she's trying to figure out what's a feasible allowance that she can allow for herself to be able to maintain life. So that's definitely something that they're talking about, and they're actually sort of having real deep conversations about that dynamic of the situation. Let's have a look, guys. Where is Britney's mind mentally as she's kind of navigating through everything with Sam? Okay. Thank you kindly, guys. Okay, guys. So she's at the path, right? She's on that Four of Swords path. She's on that Four of Swords energy, right? She's cutting through the bullshit. She's just kind of at the place now where she's ready and willing to like be courageous with the situation moving forward. I think even in that dynamic as well, where she's gaining her independence and gaining her confidence and gaining her, I guess, her ability to be able to be self-sustaining, where she's gaining all of these things, she's doing that all across the board. And even in that dynamic as well, I was just saying to you guys that she's actually kind of figuring out how she's going to be working her finances and reworking her finances in preparation for her, because she's really trying to get this situation wrapped up with her estate, right? She wants to be able to be in control of her situation financially. Will she do it? I feel like there's a very good, strong chance that she will, because I feel like she's very clear about what it is that she's trying to manifest. Like, as I sit in her space, it feels like her heart is like, she's very much charged up with the spirit of courage, and she's really kind of like persistent on what needs to be done and trying to figure out the strategies and plans on the situation. I definitely don't think that she's being as much of a pushover as we might think that she's being in that space and dynamic with Sam as well. So that's good to know. I do feel like she is definitely, their relationship is going to, I guess, withstand a lot of this power struggle dynamic that she's actually personally navigating through. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of sadness at the minute. She's very, very distraught about a lot of situations, and he's basically being her emotional support at the minute, which is kind of strengthening their bond and strengthening their union at the minute, which is great. I'm not going to say but, I'm going to say and. However, they're really just kind of thinking about the support that they have and the friendships and community that they have behind them. They're really sort of finding appreciation in the energy of the support that they're receiving from people outside of just them at the minute. And she seems to be emotionally secure at the minute. She's getting to a place where she's calm about things. She still has a lot of anxiety. She still has a lot of high stress alerts that's kind of going off in her neurological pathways, and her nerve endings are short internally, but for the most part outside, she's cool, calm, and collected, and she's accepting certain things, and she's moving on, and she's okay and ready to forgive certain dynamics. But she just knows that she's not fucking with those dynamics anymore. Pardon my French, guys. She's just not with it. And it's interesting because I feel like that's the theme of this Taurus full moon as well, like giving zero fucks. It's kind of like, how many fucks do you give, actually? And again, sorry for my F-bombs in the space, guys, but it really is that kind of energy, because Taurus is quite stubborn. But in this case, it's more so kind of like utilizing that to an advantage, because Taurus is having like this really nice conversation with Jupiter as well. So I guess she's benefiting from that energy. And she's kind of like tapping into like boss bitch vibe, which is, I guess, it's good to kind of like see her in that mode and activating and charging that aspect of herself. Because it's definitely going to strengthen her relationship with herself, I guess, as she moves forward. What would you say is the overall romance guidance then for Britney as she navigates through the situation with Sam? Like, what do you guys say to her about the dynamics of the situation? Okay, they're actually saying, she kind of just needs to let go of her own control issues with the dynamics. And if anything, it's not necessarily about controlling everything, but it's about just allowing for things to flow in the desired direction, taking certain course of action, taking certain decisions to make sure that things can play out in a particular way. So what is the overall guidance for Britney Spears as she navigates through her dynamics with Sam? Okay. Okay. And this is what I already said to you guys. So I guess the cards are mirroring the actual context of the dynamic. So for Britney, they're saying that they're getting to know each other still, and they really actually have to have really deep and serious conversations about finances and career. And it's not necessarily the time to kind of like give the relationship situation a chance to develop. It's more so a case of really kind of trying to figure out how to come together for the dynamics of this marriage, I guess, that they're kind of putting together. I do think that there is, I guess, reconciliation, if you will, on the cards for them to be able to really come together and attach to each other on a deeper level, on a deeper layer of their experience of loving each other. And I think for Britney, they're actually just kind of advising that financial issues are definitely a major factor in the love life dynamic at the minute. But as she reveals more about her innermost fears and excitements and enjoyments in life, they really do sort of deepen their bond together. And her facing some of her financial, I guess, like fear-based belief systems with this person, she's actually like ready to let him really see exactly what she's actually been going through, because I don't think even he's actually really understood the severity of the situation. I think she's kind of been handling her allowance fairly much like discreetly, but now he's getting into awareness of exactly how much the manipulation went as far as like hands in her pocket. And yeah, I think they're kind of consoling each other. And from what I can see, I don't know, it feels like there's maybe a breakup on the horizon to help them again continue to kind of work through some of the places that they don't necessarily align with the same perspectives on certain things. But again, that's something that they'll probably have to sort of face with the dynamics. Let's have a little look and see what's going on for Sam with the situation, because I'm sure that's going to be interesting, right? So for Sam mentally, guys, we want to get some understanding on what's going on for Sam, because I can see that Sam's actually definitely in tension mode. Man is on high alert with conflict and definitely like in a place of disagreement. Right now, he's having to learn how to be patient with the situation that they're kind of navigating through at the minute. And he's having to learn how to tame his little inner demons, okay? Because yeah, he's sometimes he gets too passionate and he has to kind of like watch himself in terms of the way that he communicates certain things. But yeah, guys, let's have a little look. Where is Sam mentally? Okay, thank you, guys. I didn't even finish the question, y'all, but we done got some clarity. So, yep, Sam is at a place, and it's so funny because these are literally the very same two cards that they revealed to me as I was splitting the deck as well. Literally as I like split the deck both times. The first time I got 7 of Wands, and the next time I got the Strength card. So that's literally where he's at with the situation. Like, he's at a place where he's just about like facing the challenge and dealing with the disagreements and dealing with the conflict and just dealing with the competition. I think that he's really at a place where he's really trying to protect Britney. I think for him, his main thing at the minute is that he wants to basically be able to ward off some of this negative energy that's causing her to have a lot of mental imbalance sometimes. Like sometimes it's difficult for her because she has like these shadow moments of feeling incapable because of certain things and certain dynamics. So I think he's actually just kind of, from what I can see, trying to kind of protect her, if you will. Clarify the Seven of Wands and give us some more clarity on that situation. As clearly as you can, guys. Give me a little bit more insight into the situation with Sam. Okay, thank you. So, oh God, they gave me a lot more insight. we've got quite a few cards here, so I'm gonna have to read from here. But they're showing that you know, he's kind of charging forward with the situation, very much in control of the dynamics, very much kind of feeling like, I guess he feels like he's in control of the situation. He's determined to let Britney know that there's nothing to fear. He's actually here for her. There's no need for her to kind of like live in confusion. There's a little bit of immaturity that's kind of taking place in terms of how he's handling things at the minute. So he may need to get that under control. But for the most part, he's actually just kind of focused on, I guess, expanding their life and the vision and just getting away from this situation where Britney feels like she's stifled and her growth is being stifled by the dynamics that she's navigating through with her broken home situation, her broken home dynamics. I think that he's actually at a place where he's really ready to just explore what's actually on the other end of this disastrous situation that they're actually navigating through at the minute. And I do kind of like feel that he's going this ham because he wants to unmask a lot of the hidden agendas that's had, and he needs to be careful because his very own hidden agendas may come to surface in the process of that. So that's something that he has to bear in mind as well. So he has to check himself before he wrecks himself. Okay, that part. But let's go ahead and close out the space and see what the overall romance guidance is for him as well. I think for him, they're kind of, saying that he's no longer at a place where he's like looking at the red flags with the situation with Britney. He's actually quite satisfied with the dynamics of the situation. I don't know if he's actually genuinely looking at her like a soulmate, but he's definitely looking beyond her red flags and actually understanding a little bit more about why those red flags exist. And he's getting some real insight and clarity on the situation. But what's the overall romance guidance for him? Okay, the overall guidance for him is to let friends kind of help. Okay, and that's one of the things that I said to you guys. They're looking at the support that they have outside of themselves. They're looking at the community that they have that is in support of them being able to navigate through the situation, and they're drawing strength from that, which is really, really nice. It's a good place for them to be. There's a natural chemistry that he has with Britney, and they're going to have to just take some time back and retreat from the external world and allow for themselves to just have some together one-to-one time where they can just express themselves about what's really going on and be prepared to kind of keep an open mind and an open heart to receive the other person, because it's not necessarily an unrequited love, and they're not going through like a new phase of love with the situation. It's not a new attraction that they're dealing with. If anything, they have to come together deeper on the situation. They have to come together stronger on the situation and release some of their control issues around the children and around their ways of how Britney's also being treated like a child with the situation. They have to very much be in balance with the way that they articulate their passions on the situation, because she's asking for her the worth of her self-value, because she's upped her game. Like, she's at a different place in terms of her self-worth, and she's going to realize that it is safe to love, but it's going to require making some real significant effort. Okay, it's going to require actually doing some real work. Okay, but that's pretty much everything from me, guys. I hope that was useful, I guess, for them. And if you guys do like the content, guys, definitely be sure to give me a thumbs up. That way I know that you're appreciating the content and you're digging my vibe. And if you do like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way you can be kept in the know when I do upload these awesome videos for you guys. I will see you guys probably tomorrow for the Taurus full moon. Pick a crystal reading in the evening. So stay tuned and hang tight for that. And definitely, guys, hit me up if you guys are interested in coming along for the Taurus full moon partial lunar eclipse event that I've got sort of taking place on the 19th, on the day of the Taurus full moon at 7 p.m. GMT, where we'll pretty much just be looking at the transits to help us optimize our DNA activation during this season, looking at the transits that may cause some turbulence and preparing for some of those shadows as they may surface, and just kind of supercharging ourselves, utilizing the power of water alchemy and the power of prayers of manifestation, my love. That's actually one of my biggest tools for manifesting, as well as visualization, because we will be doing some meditation to set the intention out there into the ethers, let the guides go and work their beautiful magic on our behalf and start pixelating everything for that timeline 6 months from the Taurus full moon taking place on Friday. So if you guys are interested in that, hit me up. Alternatively, you can actually check out my channel and go to my YouTube page. I think you guys will be able to get access to the event there. Tickets are actually going to be on sale until tomorrow. So definitely, if you guys are interested, you guys would probably need to make a quick move on things to be able to sort of catch that vibe. Okay. And I wouldn't want you guys to miss an opportunity, because I'm definitely, this is something that I've been working on behind the scenes for a minute. So it'll be nice to kind of see some of you guys in the unfolding of the development of it as it starts to come into effect. And heck, I guess some of us are more of a hive mind. So if it takes for everybody else to jump on this wave a couple of years from now, for y'all to kind of like jump on it too, I ain't mad at y'all either. Okay, try before you buy. I want to see how it works for others as well. So I feel y'all on that one. But on that note, guys, I'm gonna love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I hope this has been insightful as always. And until the next video, I'll see you guys then. Mwah. God bless. Namaste, guys.
To hold her back, they never seem to leave her head and tend to keep her mind at war. All the things I said to hold her back, they keep her locked inside of all the times when she's been hurt before.
That's it, folks. Peace. See y'all in the next video. Take care.